So tonight's video, I'm going to give my take on something that I didn't really understand before, and I'm starting to understand a little bit more these days. So maybe this is something that caught Charles' attention too, and I just wanted to make a video regarding it. So for the past, it seemed like maybe at least 10 years, there's been a lot of commercials trying to really push that whole interracial relationship. And originally there was a lot of the black men and the white females in the commercial. Then about a few years ago, you started to see a lot of black women and white men. And around that same time as well, you started to see a lot of biracial children in these commercials. Now, initially, my thoughts were, well, what are they trying to do? They're trying to, promote something. Is this propaganda? Are they trying to steer people in some type of direction and mindset, which can be a case, when you see society steering in one direction and the media trying to feed that narrative. Sometimes people who are not strong enough in their will to see past all of that might fall victim to some of that. But then I started to think and took off my blinders, and I said, well, why would these companies, and it's a lot of these companies doing that, why would a lot of these companies spend millions of dollars in advertising to promote to a people or a demographic that doesn't exist, or doesn't exist in large enough numbers for that to even be concern their books or their paper? Then it occurred to me, there must be a large enough segment of that population in order for these commercials to target that type of demographic. So then I started to listen to these YouTube streets and see what's going on in these streets with the young people and such. And it does appear, like I said in some of my past videos, that, especially a lot of these young black boys, they're not picking a lot of these black girls. And there could be a whole list of things, that contributes to that. One thing that I noticed that a lot of the younger black men are saying, that they don't see a lot of cooperation from some of these black women or the black girls. And these are some of the same things they see the older men having to go through, and they don't want no part of that. But at the same time, when we see these type of problems, by the time we understand them, a lot of the time it's already too late for a change to happen. And some people are like, well, it's never too late to change. Well, it depends. Because if you look at the landscape right now, let's go with marriage, for instance. There's a lot of people that's not getting married anymore. There's a lot of that whole thing about monogamy, marriage, commitment. I did a video maybe about a year ago now, and I was talking about, because of social media and the conditioning, and because human beings are adaptable, there are foods now that these same foods, the way they're produced, the way they're manufactured. So if some of our ancestors who lived 40, 50 years ago tried to come in this new world right now that we live in and eat some of this food, they would get sick, and a lot of them would die, because the food is so different now. But as human beings, we learn to adapt. So through evolution, through time, we learn to adapt. Same thing when it comes to the concept of relationships and the mentality. My thought process is, because everything is so instant now, where you have instant everything's always been instant. If you're watching this right now and you're at least 20 years old, you don't know nothing about patience or waiting. So most things are instant these days. But we have so many attractive people and so many websites regarding sex and porn at our disposal, that it doesn't take no effort to be sexually gratified by somebody else or even yourself these days. And a lot of people, are now hardwired with all this sexual gratification, and everybody's so attractive and nobody's staying together, and these emotions that, nobody are really trying to really work through, because if something's not going right, they could just go off to the next person and not really take no time to reflect on themselves and see what the problem is. When you have a society like that doesn't take time to reflect and see what they contributed to some of the behaviors and the patterns of some of these relationships going wrong, it leads to a whole breed or a different generation of people that's pretty much like, fuck these relationships. I'm not even waiting to fix something. I'm on to the next one. And when you start to get yourself conditioned in that mind frame, how long before monogamy is out the window? And I also always wondered, and this has been something that I just I don't understand why people don't understand this. In no time in history has nobody ever been cheated on. So why is it always such a big deal when people are being cheated on now? We go back to the morality of things, and I do understand we need to have morals in a society in order for it to function properly, or else it will be chaos. So I get that. But part of that is, what are we really more concerned with? Are we concerned with more of the morality? Are we concerned with more of ourselves and trying to, are we concerned with everyone else as far as the structure of morality, or are we just concerned with ourselves and what we want to get out of it? That's the point where we're going to have to come to, where what's more important. And at this point, it seems like, and this is just my opinion, but it seems like people are at this point, it seems like people are going in more of the direction of not really caring. And then when we got leaders in the world trying to confuse the population and confuse the people with contradicting news and false narratives, I could understand why some people might just be like, the hell with it all. They're going to go for self. So that's something to think about, in bringing back to the point about these relationships, these interracial relationships that's being pushed. Well, if you see these things on TV, if you see these things in society, and if you're a black woman, and let me just say this, it's usually the black people who have the problem with this. And there was a couple of YouTubers that broke this down, why usually black women and white men have the most animosity towards these interracial, meaning you don't really see too many black men, for the most part. You don't really see too many black men going at other black men for dating white women outside their race. And you don't really see too many white women going against other white women dating black men or other men outside their race. What you usually see is black women getting on the black men about dating outside their race, and you see the white man getting on a white woman about dating outside their race. And there's a reason for that. If you think about it, think about the connection between the white man and the black woman, and the at least perceived on some level power and authority over that group of people, which they contain. I find it interesting that a lot of the black people who really are pro-black as far as supporting other black people, and I don't mean just saying it with their words, I mean putting tangible actionable items on the table, whether it's money, whether it's resources, or whether it's their life. A lot of these black men, they're attached to either white women or other women besides black women. So it begs the question, whenever a black man in power does something to try to empower the black community, you always got these other people questioning, well, why isn't that person with a black woman? If that person was so pro-black, then, it would seem like it would be logical for that person to be dating a black woman or married to a black woman. But if you look back through the history of time, that's rarely ever the case. And there's a reason for that also as well. You have to get outside the box that you were put in and think outside the lines and the narratives that these people are trying to present to you. And again, in one of my past videos, I have a video called Ugly Dark-Skinned Women versus Beautiful Dark-Skinned Women. I exclusively date black women. And there's a reason for that, for me personally. But I can't, and I'm not going to, going further, I'm not going to allow my mind to judge, prejudge, or assume somebody else's relationship or where they stand as far as it comes to helping black people or helping black people as a whole because of who they're dating. It's almost like, well, what's more important? The black people that are actually helping, whether again it's resources, money, or with their life, even though they're dating outside their race, or the black people who are just talking about doing something that are actually dating black people, but they're not doing anything tangible. In fact, a lot of these black people who are dating each other, they're actually destroying each other more than building each other up because nobody has a plan. In no way, shape, and form would I ever promote personally. This is just my personal thing. I would never promote dating outside your race. But if you are going to be that person that stands on a soapbox and talk about other people who date outside their race and those people are actually doing something to help, then the question becomes, what are you doing? Don't complain about what other people are doing and how they choose to move if you're not going to be part of the solution. And we're always going to have those people out there. So I get it. We're always going to have those people out there who want to put their 2 cents in and they just want to play the back and not put too much work and effort in. Okay. But that was just something I wanted you to think about, because again, I'm looking at these commercials and for years I'm like, why are they promoting this agenda? This is not what's really good. So why are they doing it so much? And I'm seeing it all the time. Well, I've answered my own question. They spend way too much money in marketing research for them just to put up something that is not going to be beneficial for their brand or for their product. So in closing, as always, King's language on everything. I'm B. Rich Scott. And how to move around life, avoid entanglements. Yeah.
And we're back. And we are back. Don't forget to support those black-owned businesses.
Except that last business. It's my wife's new boyfriend. That nigga look strong as shit. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna fight you. Just you can meet her on certain days. I'm just asking you, be rich or
shout out to Be Rich.
Be Rich Products.
Yeah, man.
Just help me out with the phone bill. That's all I'm asking. All right, I'm too old to be out here thumping with you because you look like you're healthy and you eat right. Okay?
You know what I'm saying?
That's all I'm saying. Just work it out. I'm only shout out to the guard.
So, like I said, their information is in our description below.
In the description below. Yes, facts. Get up with them. Of course, he's dealing with health and supplements that go into the body to support what it is that we do, especially in these days and times. Yes. So we truly, truly want to.
And gyms just opened back up.
Right. So this is a great time to get a personal trainer and connect with somebody who can, lead you along the way.
All right.
You heard?
You are tuned into the sounds of Urban X.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I see a lot of.
Oh, my man B Rich, he's in the booth. Okay, I see you in the chat there. Yeah, I don't want no problems, man. Just the phone bill. I think that's fair. Now, if you don't want to pay nothing, that's cool. But
that's cool too.
That's cool too. But I think that's fair, because my wife gonna wake up the other day to him. I think I need a personal trainer. I'm like, I bet you do. Yeah, you wait till I tell my man Godfrey what's going on in these streets, man.
Y'all are ridiculous.
Yeah, we got heat out here in these streets.
But
this is a B. Rich Scott production. Yo.